Okay, so what are we doing today?
Well, so I thought today we would start with a really cool technology called Docker that
Okay.
solves a problem that I know you'll relate to, Eva, but anyone that's developed any complicated software. So you've run into this scenario where uh, you've programmed something on your laptop, you've gotten it to work, everything's great, then you ship it off to the ultimate destination, and then guess what happens?
It doesn't work. I
It
hate
doesn't work. That's right,
that.
because it's just not configured the same way. Like your laptop is not the same machine as that server up in the cloud.
Some little what is off, and it takes forever to find it, and I lose all momentum.
Configuration hell, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it's really terrible. So Docker is one of these really cool technologies that solves that because it's like freeze drying the whole environment into one file that as long as that file is the same on your computer as any computer in the world, it's guaranteed to run exactly the same.
So the environment, like I know that I know that I know is true.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and
I'm in.
it's based on Unix. And so like you'll set up Docker, it'll have a virtual machine that runs on your laptop. And that virtual machine, you'll set up a file that'll say, I want Ubuntu, or I want Red Hat, or I want whatever, and here's all the stuff I want on it. And if it works, it works.
Okay.
So head over to pull up your
Well, let me share my screen. That way you can
browser.
see what I'm doing.
And I'm going to walk you through setting it up.
Super. Can you see my screen? Nope, not yet. Here we go. How about now?
Yes.
Okay, so go to Docker.
Go to Docker.
Okay.
So it's really easy to install on every operating system. So just go to Get Started.
Do I need to, I guess I'm going to need to create an account, huh?
It doesn't hurt to create an account, but I think you can download it without it. But
Let's do it.
Yeah, desktop, download for Mac.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is one of those things that it took me a little while to wrap my head around it. But once I realized what it did, I'm just like, oh, this solves so many problems. And what we're going to use it today is we're going to get a Node.js web server running on your local machine. And then the next step, which we'll do in another video, is deploy that up to AWS and see that it works exactly the same.
Okay, so we're going to drag it over. Now we're copying. Okay.
All right, so yeah, just crank that thing up. And what you should see when it's running is a little whale up at the top of your screen there.
Okay, I've got to verify it.
Yep. And it's the exact same on Windows and Ubuntu and every other operating system. So you see your whale just showed up at the top there?
Yeah, but I've got to give it my special password.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's it. You now have joined the whole Docker world.
Wait, this right here?
No, up at the top on your screen, there should be a little whale.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
So now the next step is to create a folder where you want to put your brand spanking new Node.js project in.
I did not prepare this, so
From your terminal, you could do it on your desktop,
I'm just going to do new folder, put it right here. Call it, what, Node.js?
Node.js.
Now, if I do the dot, is that going to jack it up?
I don't think so.
Oh, don't add. Okay.
Okay, so now go to your terminal. Now, do you have a text editor that you like to use when you're coding?
Yeah.
So let's open up your favorite
Don't add.
text editor.
I'm still renaming this damn thing. Node space JS. Okay. Take it.
Awesome.
Oh, it's not my favorite.
Oh, if your favorite's Mr. Text Edit, I feel sorry for you.
It's not. You gotta edit this out. It's been a while since this is like you trying to find Zoom today.
Actually, though, I think some of the fun of it is watching that nobody's perfect. I mean, even though we've built all these things, it's not like we do the same thing every day.
I know it.
And so half of it is just being willing to play while you break things till you get it working.
Maybe I should have gone in reverse alphabetical order.
Adam is.
Oh, I have Adam.
Adam's the one that I tend to use.
There we go. Thanks.
All right, so open up that folder that you just created.
Come here, get down there. Okay, open.
Yeah,
Okay.
Open up the Node.js folder in Atom.
Oh, in Adam, got it.
Yep.
File, open. Desktop.
So the magic of Node.js is you create something called Dockerfile with capital D, all one word. So make a new file, call it Dockerfile.
All caps or just starts with cap?
Just starts with capital D. And
Docker.
So this is a file, F-I-L-E. I don't know why, but anyway, that's what it's called. And that's it.
Okay.
Okay, so once you've done that, this is what tells your computer or Docker how to build this thing. And at the top of it, you're going to do this magic statement called from.
What kind of capitalization requirements are
All
needed?
lowercase. So we're going to do from space node : 12. And what that does is it says, all right, I want a Node.js version 12 system set up for me. And then if you go to save it.
I'm going to use my normal save command. Does
Yep.
that work? Okay.
Yes, it does.
All right, so.
All right, so we're going to go to the terminal program.
All right.
We're going to navigate down into that.
Okay. So here we are.
Yes.
And this is rep 2. So let's see what I've learned. So CD. You did the home squiggle, right?
Yes. Or yeah. And then go
CD.
to
My tab still doesn't work.
desktop.
Okay. Then I'm going to go CD Node.js. Okay. Okay.
All right. So once you have a Docker file, that from tells it what the base image is. And it goes, they've got a website where Docker has Docker Hub, and they list all these containers, and all these open source projects will maintain containers in Docker Hub. And so if you go there, it'll tell you, okay, here's all the different, node tags, and, you can do.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, version 14, version, whatever, Alpine's a stripped down Unix system or Linux system that doesn't have a lot of programs on it, which gives you a better security surface.
Okay.
So then from the command line to build it, you do Docker build.
Here. All lower?
Yes.
I'm going to assume it's lower unless you tell me.
Correct.
Docker build.
But space, Docker space build.
Okay.
And then you've got to give it a tag name. So do -t or space -t. Now, what do you want to call this? What, Node.js hello, or whatever, hello world, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So do I do it like Node.js hello world, or like is the Node.js important?
No, it's not. This is just strictly something for you to be able to
Oh,
find.
great. Hello world.
I wouldn't do spaces.
I'm not even going to capitalize anything either. So I'm going to call it hello kitty.
There you go. And then space, and then a period, which just says, I want to do it in this directory.
Yeah. Okay.
And what it's doing is it's pulling all the layers that are out there that this Node.js container is built from. And so it pulls it down to your computer, which guarantees that you will have the exact same setup as anyone else who pulled it from Node 12.
And then it says it's extracting it. So it downloads it.
Expands it.
Okay.
And then now you've got all that software together that makes up the Node.js 12 image.
Well, where is it? Is it going to be in my?
It keeps it in a registry on your computer.
Okay.
And it checks it with the hash to make sure, yeah, I've got the same thing that that the repo said I should have.
Okay. Then it says status downloaded newer image. Okay. Successfully built, successfully tagged.
So now I emailed you a config file.
All right. Hoping my,
Which
yes. It's
should have a description JSON, or I forget.
Package.json.
Package.json. So this is how Node knows to set up its packages. So if you'll create a new file here, package.json,
but I don't want it inside a Dockerfile.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
I do.
Oh, not inside a Dockerfile, no.
Yeah, so I want to go up here, new file, package.json.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to grab what you sent, do a copy paste.
Do a copy paste.
All right.
Because we're not really getting into, the guts of Node right now.
So name, version, okay.
But you can kind of see what it says, right? So it's a bunch of things saying, you can change out author to you. And then the dependency is Express. So this is going to be a Node.js Express web app.
Okay. Is it important that I do this now, or can I do this?
No, it doesn't. This is completely irrelevant.
Okay.
At this point. Now, I sent you a second file, which is the JavaScript file that we're going to use for this.
Okay, so I save this.
You save this. Now, notice it says their main is server.js. So that's the main program. So the file I sent you, we're going to save as server.js.
Got it. We're going to save it inside of Node.js, right?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to name this main is server.js. All right. Here, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to copy that file.
So, you can kind of read, right here, you're saying, hey, I'm requiring Express. I've got a port. The host is localhost, so it's 0.0.0. And in it, all I'm doing is sending back hello world. And then I'm telling it to listen on that port and that, yep, there you go. Hello Kitty, absolutely.
All right, save.
Okay, so that's our basic Node web server here. Now we've got to finish our Docker file. So where is your Docker file? Why is it not showing up on your left there?
That is a good question. But if I highlight over it, it says that it's inside of.
So maybe your Atom is just hiding it from you. But okay.
Yeah, because there's no extension, right?
Oh, okay. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to give it a little more structure. So we're going to focus on the Docker part of this. So after from, what we want to do is in all caps, work dir, all one word, and then space, and it's going to be /usr/src/app.
I'll lowercase those.
Yep, all lowercase, and then just next line. So what that's doing is it's saying, hey, let's work in this directory, and that's where we're going to put our Node.js server. We're going to put it inside the container operating system at that user source app spot. Now we've got to copy in our software. So first we're going to copy in our package list. So all caps copy. And we're going to do lowercase package *.json.
Okay, so why do we add the asterisk?
He said it to be more flexible. Actually, just take it out. I don't
because then it would be package, but later if I do package 1 or package 2, it would.
Yes, it would get all of them.
Okay.
And then we're going to copy it to the current directory. So /. So it takes it.
There's no space.
Yeah, because we're grabbing the package JSON in the current directory and we're putting it into the container at the current directory, which the working directory is the user source app.
Okay.
So now that we've copied it in, next line, we're going to run something. So all caps run, and we're doing the node command or the Docker commands in all cap to make it look.
Yeah. Come on. Okay.
And then lowercase npm space install.
NP.
Yeah, Nancy, Mike, Nancy.
Oh.
No, Nancy P. M. Yeah, node package manager.
Yeah.
And then install.
All caps or lower?
Lowercase. So what happens is that that's how Node.js, it will look at that package JSON file and go, oh, I need Express. So if you go over to your package file.
Yeah. Okay. So it's going to copy it over.
Yes.
And it's going to actually look at it and says, I need it.
I need Express version 4.16.1.
Okay, here.
So then later, if somebody, if Express changes the syntax or whatever, it won't mess you up because you've said, I want Express 4.16.1, and I know that my server.js file will work right with that version.
Mm-hmm. And if there were other dependencies, it would go grab those too, right?
We would put those in the package JSON file.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so then now we need to copy in our actual software, the JS file. So below that, all caps copy, and then space dot.
Space dot.
Dot, and then space dot. No, there we go. So what that's saying is everything in this directory copied over. Now, the first time I did this, I would copy it, and then I would run the install. The problem is that means every time you redo it, it's going to have to install the dependencies. Each one of these lines creates its own layer. So the first one says layer 1 is I'm going to use Node.js version 12. Great, it pulls it all down. Now, every line after that, you're creating a little layer with whatever changed. So you want to install your dependencies before you copy in the software because those won't change as often, and you don't want to rerun your package installation every time you update a file or something.
Mm-hmm.
So typically, the pattern you see is you copy in your packages, install them, then you copy the software in, even if it's a duplicate. So now below that, you have to tell it, how am I going to talk to the outside world? So you're running, if you go back to your server file, you see that our port here is 8080. So now we're fixing to expose that port on the container. So the next line will be expose, all caps, and then space 8080. And then there's one more line, and this says, here's what I want to run. So when you spin up a container, you can tell it to run one thing. That's it. Now, all the operating stuff will boot up in the background, but each container has one purpose. And you split it out and you divide things up to where they're only doing one thing. So we're going to do in caps CMD, and then in square brackets, we're going to have two strings in quotes. Node.
Single quote or double quote?
Double quote, but I don't think it matters.
Okay.
So node is the command. So NODE.
Okay.
And then,
it wants to capitalize it.
You don't want to here because it's
okay.
And then comma, and then the next string. And we're going to run server.js. And that's it. Save this file. Now let's go back to the command line. Okay, so what does it say here? If we run our Docker build again.
Oh, I just catted it. Okay.
Yes.
Doink. Got a warning.
Yep. So, oh, you didn't have your license filled in. So no, it's just picking at you for the JSON, the package JSON file. Okay, so now it's built it. And so the next step is we're going to run it, and you're going to be surprised So now you do Docker run on the terminal line.
Okay.
You're going to do space -p.
P. What's the P
Now
for?
what port? So what port do you want to map the web server to?
So this is it different from the 8080 that were exposed?
Well, so here's the thing: the Docker, because you can't mix up your networking stuff. The Docker has its own ports. So 8080 on that Docker container maps to nothing on your desktop. So you get to pick what you want to send from your desktop into the container at 8080. So let's just pick like 3000. So space 3000. And then colon 8080.
Ah, cool.
And then
so you're just saying I'm going to map 3000 to 8080?
right. So it'll be 3000 from your desktop into the containers 8080.
Okay.
Space -d, which means it runs in the background as a daemon. Space, and then the name of the container, whatever you tagged it when you built it, which was Hello Kitty. And hit enter. Now go to your browser and go to localhost 3000.
Hey, hello, Kitty.
So now you have a Node.js container that if you were to push this up to Amazon, Google, Microsoft's cloud, anybody that's using Docker, it would run exactly the same as it does for you on your local machine.
And so it would run the same even if they weren't on a Mac?
Even if it was on a Mac, even if it was Windows, no matter what, that Dockerfile guarantees that the software will be exactly the same because it's running inside of a virtual machine that's running on very specific software with, both the requirements file from Docker, where you're doing your package JSON, and also the from Node:12 is a very specific package.
Okay, I got a couple of questions.
Okay.
So first we'll start here with, Dockerfile.
Yes.
This is saying where I want to get it from.
It's saying which package from Docker do you want to start with.
Okay. And Node 12 maps to?
There, it tells you, here's all these options. And so you can do a little Googling to find out, hey, I want to run, Node 12 on Alpine or whatever. And then the Node project maintains these pristine copies that run their software on a Linux operating system.
So Node is a Docker node where stuff is.
Well, no, so Node is just the name of the project on the Docker Hub. So you go back, it's hub.docker.com. Okay. It's sort of like GitHub.
Oh, so so I'm in Node now.
You're in their official image for the Node project.
And then 12 means?
It's version 12 of Node.js. Because they've got all kinds, they've got 14's the latest, greatest, but it's not stable. 12 is the stable version that they recommend producing it on, but you can even go down to which version of 12 if you want to be even stricter. You could say, I want 12.18-.3.
Okay. And then this is just saying what my working directory is.
Yep.
And I'm going to copy the JSON package, which we created earlier, into that directory.
Yep.
Then we're going to go ahead and grab it, the dependencies and install
all the Node.js packages you need.
And then I'm going to copy everything else also into the working directory.
Right, which is your server.js is the main thing.
Yeah, because that's all that's left. here. But if I had a big one, it would copy everything, right?
It would copy everything.
And then in order to have the Docker container have some kind of like connector, we're exposing port 8080.
Yes.
And
so
then
you're saying for the container, only port 8080 will listen. Everything else will be sealed off from the outside to help secure it and make sure someone's not hitting it and trying to break into it.
okay. And then command, we're going to run node and then specifically the file server.js.
Yes.
Okay.
And that will be all that's running in terms of everything you put on there.
So server.js could reference other files, but we'd still be running server.js.
Absolutely.
Okay, so server.js, that's the actual JavaScript that says Hello Kitty.
Absolutely.
And package.json is all the dependencies needed for the JSON.
So what do you think? What's your first reaction to Docker?
Well, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think I got a lot of questions. Why I think it's really cool is because of how many times I've been bitten in the tail thinking things were going to work and then have lost hours or days trying to get something working.
Or you send it to a developer and they have a bug you didn't have.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. So the problem it solves, I'm really excited about. I'm curious about, so you put a teaser in there, right? You put a teaser saying that they all do perform one function. And so I'm really curious about kind of the right architecture to have. Like, is it typically, do you typically have like a cluster of Docker containers that by design work together, or, and we don't have to answer it now. I'm just like.
And so that's part of it. You build it up. So like, remember when we first started One and Only, we had our database server and our web server on the same machine, right?
Right.
Well, in Docker world, they call it microservices. That's the big trendy thing. And so each thing like your database, your web server becomes a microservice that runs one thing in this container. Now you might have a machine that's running 50 containers, but it just isolates it down to where you know exactly what software you need, which versions you need, so that web browser or that database does exactly what it's supposed to do. And if you upgrade the software on your web server, it doesn't screw up your database server.
I was just thinking that it's going to make upgrading like pieces easy.
Yes, I mean, I'm currently working on a project with a guy out of San Francisco, and we're running it on containers. And those containers, when I go to update it, I basically just push out a new version of the container, drop the services, and then they all come back up with the fresh new version that I know will work because I'm running it locally using a container.
Nice. What about troubleshooting?
Well,
does it make it easier?
Well, it's just like developing anything else. I mean, the thing that it guarantees is this interoperability. That's the problem it solves. And so it's not any different than debugging any other piece of software. It's just you can get very precise about the setup. And I mean, I've spent weeks trying to understand how I set something up on my laptop to get it to work in the cloud because I had the wrong, this version of sub process X, and it just make you pull your hair out. So that's it. I mean, next time maybe we go through and we show you how to push this up to AWS, and we can get Hello Kitty open for business in the world. And what I think will surprise you is, yes, this looks a little complicated. It feels kind of when you're setting it up the first time, but then the first time you push it to AWS and it works exactly the same, you're like, holy crap, I want more of this. Well,
so basically I could push it up to AWS. You could download it. You're running Ubuntu, right?
I'll run it for you at my computer and it would work exactly the same, and then we could collaborate around it.
That's cool. Okay. Well, I've known about Docker for a long time, and I've known it can be really, really cool, but this is my first dip in. So thanks for making it easy.
And what we're trying to show you here is that as entrepreneurs that build things, you have to be willing to try this new stuff. Now, it helps if you have someone that's already done it, but just getting in there, getting your feet wet, pushing it out. I mean, this is how you get to where you can make things without it, making your head explode.
Well, thanks, Will.
Awesome. See you next time, guys.
Okay.